uh, to, I'm talking like I'm on the convention circuit here, but it is an honor and a privilege for me to introduce, to welcome everybody today. And I guess the concept behind calling this 101 is that it's going to take us through all the things that the league does. And our league is really a very busy league, a very accomplished league. And we're hope that our new members, whom I welcome also to this event, will find something that that speaks to them and that they'll just jump right in. I like the analogy that our other president, I'm one of the co-presidents, and Elizabeth Brown is the other one. She said we're on a merry-go-round and we're spinning fast. So the issue is that I thought that was a nice analogy because this is a really busy time. And we are, except for our office manager, Hope Fountain, we are an all-volunteer group. So I hope that you will find something that that really speaks to you, Jenks jerks your chain, whatever that thing is, and hopefully you will jump in with both feet. And once again, I welcome you all. Now I turn it back to Emily, who is membership committee has organized this whole evening.
Thank you, Pinky. Wanted to move to, I'm hoping we don't have any difficulties tonight, but it looks like maybe Chris is not on. Elizabeth Zach next, and Elizabeth is our, well, I'll let you introduce yourself, Elizabeth, but from our program development, program development committee. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Elizabeth Zach. I'm Vice President of Programming, or the Program Development Committee for the League of Women Voters. So we are just one of several different committees or kind of sections of the League of Women Voters. And programming really has to do with the discussions and the projects and the advocacy that the league does that relate to our positions. And it might be Chris Moran or someone else down the line who talks about what our positions are. But if you want to think of it, it's almost like a party platform, except that of course the league is not a political party, and of course we are nonpartisan. But our positions and our program are like a platform. Oh.
Emily, we can hear you. Hope you want to put everybody on mute. Thank you. Go.
All right. So really the league at the local level, which is us here in Cincinnati area, at the state level, so Ohio, and then at the national level, we have different positions on a huge range of issues, including housing, different aspects of poverty and income support, immigration, natural resources, education. Of course, we have positions on access to voting and election systems and voting rights. And we do have, of course, the Voter Services Committee within our local league. And so someone from Voter Services will be talking about that more later. But programming really deals with handling monthly unit discussions that we host, or our monthly programming meetings, and then deciding, as a committee and as a league, what are we going to act on, what are we going to do to advocate on issues locally. And we always connect it back to those positions, either at the local, state, or national level. And that's just really so that there is consistency and integrity in what the league does. When we, even if our membership changes from year to year, people may go on or off the board. We have different leagues. There's leagues in Cleveland and Columbus and elsewhere in Ohio, but that way there is consistency and integrity in what all League of Women Voters do when we have those positions that we always connect back to. So if anyone's interested in seeing what those positions are, we have our local ones on our League of Women Voters Cincinnati website. The state positions are on the Ohio League's website. and the Ohio League also links to the national positions as well. And the Program Development Committee meets on the fourth Wednesday of every month. So anyone who's interested is always welcome to jump in at one of our meetings. We're meeting by Zoom now. And so our meeting for August is tomorrow. It'll be at 5:40, and it usually lasts about an hour. And I always like to tell people that especially if you're new to Cincinnati, but even if you're a long timer, it is such a great way to get to know what's going on in the city. I initially joined the league when I moved to Cincinnati, and it was a great way for me to get the lay of the land, learn about what's going on at city or county government, what some groups are advocating for, and it was a great way to learn kind of peer-to-peer through other members who are really well versed in the politics and policy of our area. So I will wrap it up and turn it over. You're going to hear next from some of our committee chairs who are part of PDC.
Excuse me, I have to interrupt. Jean Nightingale is having trouble getting on.
Okay.
If Hope can help or you can help her out, otherwise she'll call my cell and she can give a report from my
She
cell.
also called me, and I'm trying to dig up the email to let her in as we speak.
Great, thank you. Sorry to interrupt Emily and Elizabeth.
No problem, Pinky. I'll we'll bump over natural resources until she's joined us. Thanks, Elizabeth. One really important thing that Elizabeth mentioned for everyone on the phone that we were reminded last night of is, as you're a member of the League of Women Voters in Cincinnati, you're also a member of the state, the Ohio League, as well as the National League. So you do have access to all of their information, distribution lists, other advocacy actions at the state and national level as well that are aligned with league positions. So just something of note. And as Elizabeth mentioned, we'll next be hearing from leaders of the committees that fall under program development. Carolyn Miller, did you want to speak to transportation to start?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Chris Moran and I have been following transportation, and if many of you remember, we had a pretty big sales tax on the ballot last November for SORTA to beef up our transportation system and to get it operating more robustly in the whole county and beyond. And that sales tax will be kicking in this next month. And so we will be closely watching the planning of SORTA to implement the Metro Moves plan on which that was based. And we're hoping to see some more robust transportation coming, probably not till the new year. I know they've been delayed a bit with the COVID and everything, but we're very hopeful. The league has a very strong position supporting transportation, especially locally, on which we based our support of that sales tax. We joined a very, very broad coalition in supporting that last fall, and it passed. I'm sorry, it passed this spring, excuse me. We had a charter amendment last fall that would do away with the 0.3% earnings tax if we passed a county sales tax. So we did pass that this spring. If you remember the primary, the amazing primary that we had this spring, and it passed by about, I think it was about 800 or 900 votes. So it was very close, but we were glad it passed, and now we can move forward with our bus system. Thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn. Marcia, to speak to our education committee.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm going to talk about education, and if I look like I'm a little distracted, I'm kind of on Grammy duty as well. So, good evening. I chair the education committee for the league. Our focus primarily is on high quality education for every child and good stewardship of the taxpayers' monies for education. So we have a pretty lively and active committee. We meet the third Tuesday of every month at 2 p.m. However, if we have new members and that time doesn't work for you, we can be lenient and flexible. So we enjoy having new members, and we do meet via Zoom. So as I mentioned, we focus on education issues locally. We pay attention to our school district strategic plans, their academic achievement, their graduation rates, equity and diversity, especially as it pertains to access. Our members regularly attend the school board meetings. It's a little easier now with Zoom and video conferencing to jump on that stuff. We monitor education-related legislature at the local and state level, and we make recommendations to our league board for supportive issues like levies and so forth. We also host members of the education community to share information with us, like the school board members. We have school district leaders like the superintendent and others to come to our meetings, and our state elected officials as well. So we have hosted them either at our committee meetings or as guests at an all-member meeting to talk about what's going on. And as appropriate, we do write the media and share our opinions via op-eds and letters. Right now, we are focused on the reopening of the schools. This was the official first week of school for CPS. In fact, just got off of a parent orientation for my granddaughter at SCPA. So a lot has been going on with that. The children will actually start classes next Monday. So they'll be full-fledged into their learning on next Monday. We also are watching the upcoming CPS Preschool Promise Renewal Levy, which will be on the ballot in November. So again, that's a new, it's not new money, it's a renewal, and it will not raise your taxes. So in this pandemic, as you see, families are facing a lot of challenges, none of which are as important as making sure that our children are learning in a safe environment and that they're receiving a high quality education. So that's what we do as a committee, and we invite you to join us. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcia. I think I see Jean on to speak to natural resources. I saw her picture anyway. Maybe not.
Good evening, everyone. Jean
Okay.
Nightingale
Hey,
here.
Jean.
And I'll do a report on our Natural Resources Committee, which is chaired by Pinky Kokocious. And we have a growing number of active members, and we're really getting involved in a lot of issues, and we welcome new members. We meet every fourth Monday at 11 o'clock, and we're tackling about 4 or 5 issues right now. I can just give you a brief outline of what we're doing. One is that we're involved in trying to ban single-use plastic bags in Cincinnati. And this is going to actually happen. We've been working on this for years, 8 to 12 years. I don't know, it's been a long time. And we're a coalition. We have about 16 organizations working for us. And we just reach out to the community and to city council, educating them about the costs of plastic pollution to the environment and to human health. So, so what we want to do is get this ban in place, but it's been, because of COVID, things have been a little bit delayed, but we do have a lot of support from council. Chris Zalebach is championing the case, and we are going to, he tells us, roll it out next month in September. We're not sure what time, but we really could use some community support for this. We have a major hurdle on the Ohio state, though. They have, the House has passed a bill 242, which is just sitting there right now being sunset, but it does threaten to prevent municipalities like ours from passing bans against these bags. So it somewhat seems like it's something has to do with the petrochemical industry supporting these people who are voting for this bill. We also have a recycling effort going. We're supporting the Keep Cincinnati Beautiful's effort to collect difficult to recycle materials. On October 3rd, they're going to have another one of these one-stop drop pickups so we can line up and bring all our difficult things. So you could start saving some of your things like electronics, styrofoam, light bulbs, plastic planters, a lot of things that are hard to recycle. But in the long term, we know that recycling is not going to stop this, help this crisis of plastic in our world. We're going to have to take it to the industry and make them responsible for the external costs. So the other thing that we're working on is HB 6. I'm not sure if you know what that is. It calls for a taxpayer bailout of aging coal and nuclear plants that are not doing very well. And it also blocks incentives to promote renewable energy solutions. So you may have heard in the newspaper about the corruption, bribery schemes surrounding this. And the governor is ready to repeal it because it is a corrupt bill. But we want more. We would like to see a complete review and a revision of the state energy policy. We would like them to consider renewable energy, put that in there so they can build some incentives. And also we need to restore the public trust. So DeWine is worrying about losing jobs from the nuclear plants, but we're saying, you know, there's going to be plenty of new jobs to be trained for and for the future from the renewable industry. So it's time we think that energy bill serves Ohioans, not industry. So that's our action right now. We had written a letter to DeWine, and we're going to try to do some follow-up letters to senators and representatives. So then finally, there's a new issue that we're working with on water. The League has a long record of holding positions on protecting our clean water, our safe drinking water. So, but there's new threat to the health of our Ohio River, from which 5 million of us get our drinking water. So 3 barge companies are asking for permits to build 3 offloading docks along the river. And they want to ship fracking waste downriver and transfer this waste into the injection wells. There are about 200 injection wells in Ohio. And this is highly toxic material and potentially radioactive from the shale beds. So we would like to tell you about a people's hearing on Thursday. These permits for the barges will be granted to these companies unless we can show that this would be contrary to the public interest. So this was a chance on August 27th, is coming up on Thursday. There will be a people's hearing, and I have a list of talking points. We need to get ourselves on record to show the kinds of concerns we have for this permit. We just don't think this should happen. So it's time for us to speak up, and I hope this is kind of a call to action. Anybody who wants to join me and us to do this, just let me know. My email address will be, I think, in the things that we hand out afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. All right. Next, Carolyn Miller to speak to city government efforts.
Hey there again. Just wanted to point out that we have a very strong support position for our council manager form of government in the city of Cincinnati, under which we do all our action. We also support our independent boards and commissions in the city of Cincinnati, like the Parks Commission, the Recreation Commission, the Health Commission, etc. So these positions are the basis of any action that we do, and normally one of the things we're looking for, especially around election time, is are there going to be any charter amendments on the ballot for the city of Cincinnati, because that's typically the time when they go on the ballot, either in November or perhaps in a May primary. As of the beginning of July, we didn't think there was going to be anything on the ballot. And then the police reform issue popped up, as you all saw in the newspaper. They didn't get enough signatures, so that will not be on the ballot. But there is a district elections initiative petition that's still out there, and the signatures are being checked by the Board of Elections at the moment, so we have not yet heard whether that will be on the ballot. There's also a proportional representation issue that Christopher Smitherman has put forward in the council. We do not know whether that will go anywhere. The deadline is September 4th, so stay tuned. So if any of those or one of those make it onto the ballot, our committee will be charged with writing up that issue, doing research, doing pro and con arguments for our voter that will be published hopefully in early October. So we don't have a real active committee that needs meetings at this point in time, but or regular meetings, but we will meet if we have an issue that we need to take on. So if something under natural resources or housing, say, comes up as a specific city issue, then usually the Natural Resources Committee or the housing folks will take on those issues. There is some emerging interest again in shared services between either different governments within the county in order to save money, or between the city and the county, and we're sort of watching that. It's not going anywhere yet, but we hope maybe it will take off again. There have been other attempts in the past that just never quite took hold. There's also some interest in having a better city budget process within the city of Cincinnati, with a lot more citizen input early in the process. As many of you have noticed, about a month before the budget needs to be passed at the end of June each year, there's a flurry of activity, a couple of hearings, and it's really not enough time for citizens to have any meaningful input. So I think we would like to get together with some other organizations and push for more of a year-long budgeting process with more input from citizens. So I'd be open for any questions later if you have any. Thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn. And next we'll have Janet Smith to speak to county government.
Hi, Hamilton County Government Committee is an advocacy and education type committee. We don't meet regularly, but we are active, have annual responsibilities, and we have action projects. Many times issues that concern Hamilton County Government Committee overlap and interlink with other league committees. If there is an action or project, I will put information, what, when, and how the project will take place. If it interests you, then please volunteer or attend the event. Past action projects with natural resources. We planned an MSD forum with multiple experts ranging from the director of MSD, Todd Fortune, and Kufa and many others to answer our participants, 50 of them, face-to-face. On this August 10th, I contacted the Cincinnati Waterworks to discuss the drinking water in our county, and this information will be in the September voter. Fixtures of the Hamilton County Government Committee. First of all, Know Hamilton County is a publication that went online in 2014. I would love people to look at it online on the League of Women Voters website. It needs updated annually. If you see something that needs updated, please contact me. This year, Hope and I completed the updating except for the financial section. After I gave this talk last night, I asked for a volunteer, and already somebody volunteered. So thank you, Joan. And that's what I like about the League of Women Voters. You talk and then somebody goes, yeah, I think I can do that, or help you out. So anyway, the only section not updated yet is the county finance section. The voter guide. County levies need to be written almost every year. Next year, there will be at least 3 levies on the ballot. I will put a notice in the voter when we need volunteers for writing one of them. People come forward and help, but a lot of times I would love new people to join in. It's not that hard to write. I'll explain it when the time comes. The voter guide and vote411.org are 2 of our most important publications that the League of Women Voters in this area are known for. These are 2 places many volunteers are needed just a few weeks out of the year. Observer Corps. In the league might not be the most exciting, but they are part of the backbone of the league. The Hamilton County Government Committee observes the Hamilton County Commissioners meetings and the TLRC meetings, Tax Levy Review Committee. HCC meetings, I'm on the mailing list of the Hamilton County Commissioner meetings. And if there's an item that interests me on the agenda, I will watch the meeting online. Emily will probably put up Jacqueline, period, PANIOTO at hamilton-co.org if you want to place yourself on the mailing list. Today's meeting was an agenda for MSD's plan for sewer backups, the Hamilton County Fair Task Force final report, an energy committee speaking about how half of Ohio counties are in line to receive Ohio renewable energy on a large scale from solar facilities. As you can see, that's a Hamilton County Commissioners, but it also meets up with natural resources. And today, the bank project, I forgot that was going to be on there. It's back on. If you want to watch these, you can go to YouTube and see them later. You don't have to see them live. Today's was a good meeting. And then there's the TLRC has a midterm review, consultants reports, and a final recommendation for each levy that's on the calendar year. If you look at the levies in Hamilton County, you will understand only certain levies are reviewed, and these are the only ones we observe, and they're usually in the spring. And if you go to TLRC meetings, you learn the workings of each of the nonprofits discussed. And last, First Suburbs Consortium of Southwest Ohio. They meet quarterly. They have interesting speakers. Ashley, period, Keith at hamiltoncounty.co.org. Emily will probably put that up there to be placed on the mailing list. The consortium consists of all Hamilton County townships, cities, and villages represented by their mayors or council representatives. These are all the suburbs outside Cincinnati proper. And in the past, speakers have been Ohio General Assembly representatives, Port Authority, Metro Transit Plan, Hamilton County Commissioners. All subjects pertain to Hamilton County government issues. So if you know a topic that Hamilton County Government Committee should take action on or study, please contact me. I welcome the input. You will see updates on the calendars in the voter for Hamilton County Government Committee. And please join me at HCC, TLRC, or First Suburbs Consortium talks if you see a topic that interests you. Thank you.
Thanks, Janet. I think I got both contacts up in the chat, so if you can double check me, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So that concludes our key committees through PDC. Tim Vieser, if you'd like to speak to voter services.
Right. So I'm going to be speaking for my role, but also that of Desiree Futel, who's our Vice President of Voter Services. And under her purview are voter registration, naturalization, and the voter guide, which works in with Vote 411, who Liz Shockey handles. So that's kind of a theme. There's a number of areas of overlap, at least with cooperation throughout the league. The registration, although it goes on throughout the year, this year the big heavy time is now, July through November. And in the past, we've gone out and met with the public face-to-face and asked whether they wanted to check to see if they're registered, and help them through that if they're checking or if they're newly registering. In the year of a pandemic, we're testing out new approaches. So our team is texting. They have a texting bank to contact folks, to ask them and step them through a process of checking the registration, getting them registered, and also then giving them some prompts to remind them to vote when that time comes. We also have a phone bank that they're working. Some of the other lower, I would say, sort of minimal face-to-face type of activities we've been working on is distributing posters. We're in a project right now where they're going to be posting posters about getting registered, voting absentee, voter education information, And that's going out to barbershops and hair salons, which I think was a grand idea because folks have some time to sit there and think about that poster that's right in front of them. So that's an effort. We also worked with the Cincinnati Public Schools and their food distribution and getting them registration information. So we've been trying to find some unique ways going out to do that. Another, a second area within voter services is naturalization. And we have a team that are a number of folks that attend these and get our new citizens registered to vote. And Desiree's told me that we typically have about 60 new citizens per ceremony, and that works out to be about 1,500 new registered voters per year. So a lot of great steady work there. Not a lot going on right now due to the administration's handling of immigration and the pandemic, but that has been an area where we have some very dedicated volunteers. And then finally, we have the voter guide, which is published each for each election. And this year we're hoping to have about 80,000 printed. And this presents nonpartisan information on all the candidates that we reach out to. That information's input and it's verified by those candidates. It goes into Vote 411, or actually Vote 411 is our electronic media. It's vote411.org. It's a great app or website to use, and the voter guide is just the printed version of that. So those are the three main areas that we have. We're certainly putting folks to work right now in a pandemic safe way out there. So I'll stop right there.
Thank you, Tim. I did just put a note in the chat for those that are interested. Tim mentioned naturalization ceremonies as a way that we've been registering large populations of new voters. We haven't been doing it recently, but we do have 3 rather large opportunities in September where we'll be able to attend ceremonies not traditionally open to the public. So I put those dates, September 11th, 18th, and 25th in the chat, as well as the contact Janice Alvarado, who leads those efforts for us. So if that's something that's immediately of interest to you, that info is there as well. Thank you.
If I may just add,
Yes.
I forgot to mention that we have the voter services group meet on the second Monday at 6 p.m. And we're also conducting those meetings by Zoom. So I'll put that into the chat box as well. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. Okay, also from Voter Services, we have Joan Gilmore to speak to our Speakers Bureau opportunities.
Hi, yes. Welcome to anyone who's joining. And Speakers Bureau can be a very interesting place to volunteer because we get requests for people to speak from a wide variety of organizations from all different parts of town and on various topics as well. Our most frequent topic as we come up on the election would be what's on the ballot. But often even those presentations will have questions come up about things like voting by mail, voter suppression, and other topics. And we do have some activity throughout the year. Often it's just about why it's important to vote or how to register people to vote, how to register to vote. So, and there is overlap with voter registration and of course, we always take voter registrations with us if we're going somewhere, along with various other materials that HOPE can organize for anyone who accepts an event. And we do have a couple of exceptional volunteers who handle the more complicated debates or community forums. So there's a wide variety of things to do, and we'd love to have anyone who's interested in exploring this group. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Joan. And if someone is interested in Speakers Bureau, they can email you when we provide the address, or join the voter services meetings. How would they
Yes,
get
either one would be fine. Okay,
Cool.
thanks.
Thank you. Okay, next, Mary Kate to speak to our fund development opportunities.
Hi, I'm Mary Kate Jennis. I am the Vice President of Fund Development for the League of Women Voters. So I've done that for the past 2 years, and I am doing it for the next 2 years. Right now, specific to the fund, so as a Vice President of Fund Development, that means that my responsibility is for fundraising for the organization. So that looks like sending out semi-annual mailing asks every year. We plan an annual fundraiser typically. We do email. We're starting other email and digital ask campaigns also. And then we also apply for grant money for projects that we do. So right now, my committee is in a rebuilding phase. Previously, or up to now, pretty much we have been I've been split into 2 committees, mostly with a lot of overlap, that either to plan for the centennial, which we are now kind of wrapping up, or plan specifically for our fundraising event. So normally we would start planning our fundraising event, which is every February, around this time of year or in a month or so. But this year it looks a little different. Sorry, there's like a pet toy behind me. So this year is a little different since we're still not really sure when we're all going to meet as a big group together. So following the election, we will be rebuilding the fundraising committee and really getting together to brainstorm new ways of fundraising, new ways of holding events, and just new ideas about grant projects that we could be involved in. So that's my main responsibility for the league. Additionally, lately, with Mimi and a few other board members, we have been trying to rebuild our communications committee. Well, we're calling it more of a task force. It's really, really new. And right now we are operating to support the voter services. So really right now we're focused on specific projects like creating flyers or social media content, anything kind of communication specific to this election. Moving forward past this election, we're going to think a little bit more high level about how we communicate digitally, and as a team, as a board itself, and as the league itself. So we'll be thinking about more big picture things, and we have policies and procedures currently about how we do our communications, but those were written quite a handful of years ago. So we want to relook at those to really get a sense of, really evolve with how we communicate today. So that's kind of, we'll be following the election because we have plenty to do leading up to the election. So if you have any interest in being involved with our social media content, if you have abilities to create flyers or posters or graphics, then let me know and I can get you tuned in to the task force. So we've had one meeting, but I think moving forward, we'll generally operate as Janet's committees do, as a kind of an action-based task force. So that's the goal. We've been trying to meet just to get a sense of everybody's abilities and interests. And so if you have any interest either in fundraising or in communication, then please let me know. And Mimi, if you have anything to add to that, then feel free.
If you are on social media, on Instagram or Facebook, please like us and help promote things, share. That's an easy, simple thing everyone can do wherever we are, and it does help get the word out.
That's a great thing to add, Mimi. Good job. Yeah, so we're active on Facebook and Instagram. So both of that, I think you can search League of Women Voters of Cincinnati, or LWV Cincinnati is specific to Instagram. So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Mimi and Mary Kate. So next opportunity is the membership committee, which is how you're all here tonight. So I did want to first shout out, we've got, I think, our whole committee on tonight. So Janet, Jean, Veronica, Marie, and Hope. So our group is really charged with a three-pronged mission: recruit, retain, and engage our membership. Traditionally, recruitment or new members hasn't been a huge deal for us, in that you just heard of all the means that we have community outreach, and likely that's how you came to us as well. But we're working to really reinvigorate our efforts around retention and engagement, hence offerings like this evening, to make sure that our members have an understanding of the ways they can plug into the league. So if you're interested in sort of a broad base within the league, an opportunity to meet and interact, and I keep using the word engage, but engage with a broad piece of our membership. Membership is an opportunity for you to join. We meet on the first Thursday of each month at 10 a.m. And would love to have you. It's a fairly flexible commitment, so depending your availability, we'll have opportunities throughout the year to engage. One thing I wanted to mention also, and I don't want to put Veronica and or Marie on the spot, but as new members, they'll be hosting a new member social for us on September 24th, which all of you will be invited to. I don't know if either of you have given any thought yet to what that might look like and want to speak to it. If not, that's okay too. But just putting that out there as a save the date as well.
We're going to keep it a mystery for now, but it'll be fun no matter what it is.
Thanks, Marie. Awesome. Okay, so that's the membership piece. And then there were two other committees I didn't have listed. One, budget, which Elizabeth Brown spoke to last evening. I don't know if anyone wants to jump in and speak to that, other than it's traditionally a shorter term time commitment. Pinky, you want to speak to that at all? No? Yes?
Here. Yes, we are obligated under our bylaws to have a budget every year, and it is a job for someone who likes to deal with numbers. That's not me in particular, but it is a very important part of our our organization, and we have generally at our annual meeting, the budget committee will present the budget and we vote on it. So I think, are you still on the budget committee, Emily, or not? No?
No, it's been a couple years since I've...
Yeah, but anyway, so once again, if somebody is interested in figures and figuring out how we can obviously have a balanced budget, please call Elizabeth Brown on that.
Okay, thanks, Pinky. And her information will be in the notes we send out as well. Tim, did you want to speak quickly to investment committee as an option as well?
Sure. The league has about $350,000 of a fund that is used to fund activities, and it's intended to last a long time. So the investment committee is a stewardship function. We're not busy picking investments, but monitoring the ones that we do have, ensuring that the donor's intent is held to, and that the way that we have it configured is adhering to policy and going to produce sufficient returns to keep that fund growing and funding the programs here at the league. So Emily is there, and our treasurer, Teresa Fisk, but we certainly could use anyone who's interested in that line of work. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim. All right, so with that does conclude our notes from our committee leads tonight. Open for questions if anyone has any. Feel free to speak.
I see that actually Pinky has her hand raised.
I need to change my view. Sorry, Pinky. All right, view changed. Pinky, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to just, we are all about registering voters and trying to make this election or this voting process as easy, and of course we want educated voters. And I want to bring something to the attention that maybe you have been following out about these additional drop boxes in communities. Currently we have only one at the Board of Election in Norwood, and there is a proposal which would allow counties to have other drop boxes throughout the county. Well, that kind of went nowhere. I'm not sure I know all the details, but the Secretary of State says it's not in his power to do this. So there is a bill that has already passed the House. It's Bill 680. And this bill is about, oh boy, it's about, I could get the name, but it's about election processes during a health emergency. And it currently has passed the House, but there's no reason that we can't try to contact our state senators and tell them to include that. If that indeed is the situation that the Secretary of State doesn't have that authority, but the legislature does, then I think that's a perfect thing. So I would encourage you to look up in our True, which is one of our best, nobody's talked about that yet. We have a publication called True, they represent us. And that has all the information on all of our elected officials, from the president on down to all the school boards for the county only. So I think that this is not something that's most probably going to happen for this election. But if anybody was aware of the lines around the building for people dropping off their ballots, if in absentee ballots at Norwood, I guess it clogged up to Route 75. It was so many there. So this is something that could really help, and it would allow people in different neighborhoods to be able to not have to go all the way to Norwood. So once again, House Bill 680, and the ask of your state senator is to include the concept of more drop boxes in the county, in our county, obviously. So thanks very much.
Thanks, Pinky. And you just mentioned True. How can members make sure they have that document? Do we send it to new members, or can they? I know we have them at the office, but I'm not sure how people would access it.
I think Hope is eager to jump in here.
Go ahead.
So there are a couple ways you can get it. Every year, every spring, it is sent out to the full membership. And in between times, you can request it. It's sent out in the new member packets. And it's also available on our website under studies. So we have our True, our No Hamilton County, and our study positions all under studies on our website.
Thanks, Hope. And Marie just sent it to me privately also, so I know it's up there now and you can find it. So thank you very much. One other publication I wanted to make sure we mentioned also, several of our committee leads have mentioned the Voter, which, as we clarified last night, is a monthly email newsletter that you will all receive as new members. So if for some reason you haven't or are not receiving that, Hope again is your contact. If you have need to receive a paper version versus via email, Hope is also your contact. Did I do okay, Hope?
Yeah, that's fine. You should also, as new members, be getting emails from National on a semi-regular basis, and give it a couple weeks for Ohio syncing into National's database to start getting emails from Ohio. We update our own database. I also update National's database. Ohio pulls from National. So there's always a couple weeks lag between the two.
Thank you, Hope. Okay, any other questions? Yes, Carolyn.
Emily, are we co-sponsoring the judicial candidate forums that are coming up in late September, early October with Women's City Club, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes.
I'm not the right person to speak to that, but I believe yes.
Dean, are we co-sponsoring? Yeah, that's what I thought. So you might want to watch for those. Those are always really interesting to hear the judicial candidates who are running for Common Pleas Court. That'll be wonderful.
Yeah, and I would encourage anyone who missed. We did recently host a forum, which Desiree, if you tell our Vice President of Voter Services, moderated for our sheriff and prosecutor candidates in Hamilton County, and that's available on, help me, but our Facebook page, and I think YouTube as well.
Yes.
And we've had a really broad reach with that, and it was very nicely done with some great questions and feedback and some pretty tough races locally. So if you want to check out some of our work there, that's a good place to go. Okay, any other questions?
I have two questions.
Sure, Deborah.
Sure. One question that I have is, when you guys were talking about some of the communication, letter writing, and communication with our representatives in government, writing to the governor or whoever, I'm wondering if that's the League of Women Voters is helping us as individuals to compose those letters, or are these communications from the League of Women Voters, or how does that all work? And then my second question is there a kind of a standing monthly or some forum that the whole group gets together, or is it all the work done through committees?
Thank you. I'm going to let you take this. Those are good questions.
Yes, I'll take the first question about the letters. The issue that I just spoke to you now about House Bill 680, we are just asking individuals to call their state senator, to encourage them to include those drop boxes in that legislation. When we take a, quote, official position, it often comes from the committee. I think Jean just mentioned the Natural Resources Committee had written a letter on HB 6, which then was passed through the Program Development Committee and then voted on by the board. And so a letter like that, it does come from the LWVCA, and I will also share that the League of Women Voters of Ohio also weighed in on that too. And there's a lot of issues that are, besides the whole bribery issue, it's democracy and transparency. And the other question is that we have a regular board meeting, which is the first Wednesday of every month at 5 o'clock. All of a sudden my brain went dead. And this is our board meeting, but all of our meetings are open to the public. So they
6.
Oh, 6. Thank you. So this is a meeting of our board, and this is where we take official action, like approving the letter I just spoke of on HB 6. But these are meetings that obviously all our meetings, we're a 501c3, and all of our meetings are open to the public. We did have a really nice gig going with, we called them Dinner with the League at the Fire Museum, and we had some great speakers, which allowed people to get together and hear from the school board president, Cincinnati school board president, and the editor of the Inquirer, Beryl Love. Unfortunately, those, because of the pandemic and the COVID, we've obviously had to suspend those. But that is another thing that we would like to continue as soon as we can. Does anyone else have a comment to include, Carolyn?
No, I'm sorry, I went to unmute you.
Sorry. Anyone has mentioned our unit meetings that we have throughout the year. Did anyone mention them?
No. Important point.
So we just finished a health equity consensus in August, and then in September we're going to be really focusing on voting absentee and by mail, and some comparisons with other states. October we'll be dealing with the fall ballot issues. November will be Black Lives Matter and police reform, or that general topic, and then on into next year. So you'll have to watch the voter for ways to get involved in those units and to come in on the discussions, which I imagine will be mostly by Zoom, at least this fall. Is that right, Emily?
Yeah, and I think, Deborah, my comment is, I mean, it's a good point. We don't have broad membership meetings for everyone. I think the reason for that is that we have so many other options through the weeks and months that are completely open to our membership. We do have an annual meeting, and Pinky, you may want to speak to that. So that's the one time per year where we do invite, obviously everyone's invited to anything, but a more broad invitation where we speak to everything that we've accomplished through the year and our plans going forward for the coming year. but that's once a year.
Right, that meeting is once again required by our bylaws. We're a organization that sticks to the laws and the rule of laws, and it is that. But it is a nice meeting where you can learn about, meet with other people. But it's a business meeting for us. It's usually a dinner meeting, a buffet dinner meeting, and of course the two big issues that we have to deal with is, as I mentioned before, our budget and then our election of officers. So we did it last. We are required to do it in May, and we did it virtual. And Hope, our guru here, who can do everything online, electronic and Zoom, and we were able to vote. There's a voting option with Zoom, and so we could vote on the officers. We could vote on the. It was very exciting, and we had a great turnout. And so I don't know what will happen. We have not looked that far ahead. But that's another event that you can watch for, and if it's on Zoom, then we'll see you there.
Thanks, Pinky. Deborah, did we answer your questions?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
All right, great. Anything else? Okay. All right, with that, I guess we're right up against 7:30. Do be watching your email though. We'll have a note out to everyone who registered. Tomorrow it'll have contact details for each of these committees. We've mentioned a lot of different meeting offerings. All of those also are on the League of Women Voters website. So there's a calendar there. You can either pull the meeting details directly from there, or again, Hope, looking at you, she can help you out as well if you're having difficulty, or you can reach out to the committee chair. That'll be listed on that email that you get as a follow-up. All right, thank you again so much for joining the league and for your interest, and look forward to seeing all of you either virtually and hopefully in person sometime soon. Have a nice evening.
Great, thanks everybody.